I'm 63 and a half. I was going to retire in a year and a half. And, I waited to buy this truck. And he said, Sean, live your life now. Take your opportunities and do what you love. Don't wait. Don't wait until, someday. And I got to tell you that I did not realize at the time how much that would guide me for, mostly for good, but it's, to seize the day and do what I love today. And somehow things always work out. Like I look at, like 4 years ago, what I was worrying about, what I was like really, fretting about, it's like, oh, that all just kind of solved itself. That didn't, there was really no reason to get like all worked up over it. Like I could have lived that same thing and just not worried and still done the same things, like physically gone and, got the job done and packed the packages or whatever it is that I had to do, and just like not worried. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm working on that part of me that just stresses out over things. It's a whole lot of unnecessariness, And so I started blue table painting in my garage. I went to Games Day 2004 in Seattle in February. And it's kind of cold in the Northwest, but it's mostly just rainy and overcast in the wintertime. And that's good times to me. When I go out and it's like rainy and overcast, like I feel alive. I'm just, this is great. Let's go for a walk in this, And so a wood elf army that I painted, because again, at this time I was soloing. I was physically painting everything for just people that I knew. And an autumn-themed wood elf army that I painted won Player's Choice, which is like best painted. So that was pretty cool. I still have that award. I have a bunch of awards, like just minor stuff that I won, as an amateur and a professional, I guess. So I used to go to Rogue Trader tournaments just to try and win best painted. And that was always my forte, was theming, like doing conversions and magnetization and, getting an army like a theme, an idea going. And recently I've been thinking, you know what? I should really just put one of those up a day, like put up on video, just put up an idea a day for a themed army. Wouldn't that be exciting? I think that'd be good. And so anyway, in 2004, we got, this is when they were lending money to anybody for a house. And I was like, I got on there and was like filling out this online application. I'm like, by the way, I just quit my comfortable job with benefits to paint these figurines. And, this is what I've done so far. And sure enough, they pre-approved us. We moved out to Utah. Tammy has relatives out here, and this has been, and we've been out here for 11 years. Yeah, in fact, in 3 weeks, BTP will be celebrating its 11th anniversary. And it's been a great ride, full of some nail-biting sequences. But looking back, I'm like, no, I didn't really need to worry about it. Like, what if it's not really a problem? And recently I've been trying a thing where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna do my best. This is what I'm gonna do. But then after that, I'm gonna go home and just not worry about it. I'm just gonna go home and spend time with my kids and, eat dinner and go for a walk, and it's all gonna be good. And oh, that's funny. That just made me space out. I'm like, yeah, I should get home and eat lunch and go for a walk. Anyway, I rented like a little office downtown Spanish Fork. Downtown Spanish Fork is kind of like, it's a small town. It's got a lot of charm to it, and good people. You can leave your stuff unlocked here. And so, I rented a little office. And that's what I called the age of the housewives, where, most people who answered my ad for like super part-time work, I didn't get people who, were going to pay all their bills with this because it didn't pay that much. You know, minimum wage at the time was like $4.25 an hour, something like that. And so anyway, yeah, so I got part, and quite frankly, I didn't even know if I was going to be there. I didn't even know if it was going to last 3 months. People go, how's your business going? I'd be like, well, check me in 3 months and see if I'm crying, you know? And, but it kept going, had exponential growth every year. But what's funny is I didn't notice it. It took me like I had to get like 6 years into it, and I was just like, whoa, this has been like exponential growth, you know, because I was just so busy just like trying to make it work, you know, and I think that's what takes down a lot of solo miniatures painting people, or even, you know, if they're trying to make it into a company, is a thing where it's like you get all those deposits and that feels good, but then now you got to do the work, and you've got to do it consistently too, within a certain budget. And so like price, sometimes people are like, well, how do you come up with your pricing? Because a lot of people that want to get into this, they email, get it all the time, you know, hey, I'm going to do what you're doing. This is typing, by the way. I'm going to do what you're doing. What, you know, can you give me some advice? And I made a video about that, and, you know, because I just kept answering the same question over and over again. And, you know, I'm going to change up the background a little bit. There you go. Oh, that's nice. Have a little halo here. Oh. So is that it's like, yeah, you've got to, and I think what happens is a lot of people are like, oh, and then they're painting and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting paid, you know, $300 to do this, and it's already taken me 60 hours. And it's like, well, guess what? You gotta pay yourself. You gotta, you know, and finish those commissions, finish them. And so, of course, many of you that have followed our channel, the big sort of question mark of Blue Table Painting is, can this be done as a standard, sustainable model, as a real business? And, you know, because I have workers' comp insurance on my employees, I have unemployment insurance, I have OSHA has been down here inspecting everything, and I have a bookkeeper that he likes to be, he's like, call me an accountant. I'm like, oh, but bookkeeper's so cool, it's so old school. And, you know, comes in every week and, you know, goes over everything and, you know, make sure everything's classified correctly. So, and then, so can you do that? Can you keep a sustainable force on? Can you have a training program? And can this be brought out of like, because it started as like the Wild West, and then you kind of had Pony Express, and then I'm trying to create, and still, you know, the jury's out to some extent. You know, I've captured a very modest, now, because you might think, like, BTB is so huge. Well, no, not so much. I think I'm capturing maybe 3% of the actual market. But like I said before, I'm not paying that much attention. It's an item of interest to me, but not, you know, mostly I'm just handling the day-to-day stuff rather than going out and doing market studies and whatnot. So anyway, yeah, and you know, this gives rise, yeah, yesterday I was up in Salt Lake, and I ended up in this costumer's shop and talking to the owner there, and she was talking, well, we were talking about, oh my gosh, what was it? It was like the fragmentation of markets, that the age of the internet makes it so that like it's easy to enter a market, but it's also, you know, it's also very fluid, and how do you deal with that? And I think it's great. I think it provides advantages it allows, you know, everyday people to go out and connect with their customers, you know, like, what's that called? There's a online thing called Lyft, where it's a website where you can just find a ride. You know, there's another one, I can't remember what it's called, Airbus, Air something. Anyway, it's where you can rent a room in your house by the night, you know, almost turn into like some kind of mini hotel. And you know, the weird implications of that, of being able to like kind of micro connect up, you know, very quickly. And I'm like, yeah, you can start a business or a service really, really quickly. But now the trick is, can you make it into like your living? So, will things just fragment to the point where it's just sand, and you can't really build anything on it. You can't like get the blocks together. And so in a way, that's been blue table painting, which is, okay, well, what can I actually build out of this? And I believe my model has a lot of merit, and it's undergoing a process. Yeah, it has not been a perfect process. It's something that just like it's undergoing refinement. But I pick up a lot of refugees. I pick up a lot of people who, they're the one-man band that was servicing them just kind of blew up somehow. And I don't talk about it very much, but there's some horror stories out there. I have a client now, he waited 2 years, and his stuff never got painted. And he never got his deposit back either. They weren't painted at all. He just barely even got his figures back. And then of course, so the big question, so looking on the positive side of that is, can I provide like this sustainable model where all interests are served, and it can maintain its momentum over, however many years. And that has been, oh my gosh, that has been exciting. So anyway, so I had different offices, downtown Spanish, for each one bigger than the last, except in one case. BTP has had several what I call heart attacks, where it's like, you don't go out of business, but you have like a setback. And it's like, well, and I'm like, because the heart attack is a great comparison. It's like, well, your heart only has to stop beating for 20 minutes and then that's game over. Like there's no amount of beating after that is going to bring it back, So if you manage that and, reconcile, and that's what I become very good at, is reorganizing, almost like shock absorbers, like I reorganize and retool my structure a lot more quickly now. Like I don't just wait around, be like, oh, this is going to get better. Well, maybe it won't. Maybe you better move now and, make sure everything works. So anyway, so I had, it's a pretty small company, maybe 5 to 10 people. And even then, a lot of them part-time. It's always been mostly part-timers. A few people here actually make it their full-time gig. And that's the weird thing, is like, I want that. I'm like, I got all these projects needed doing back here. Please pick things up. Let's get paid. And, I got the low battery signal. So anyway, I rented this, like the bottom level of this office, and it was beautiful. Like accountants and lawyers should have been in this place. And I had my world room where I could set up like 3 or 4 tables, and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. And then that kind of like, then there was a chuck hole, and then we ended up in early 2008 was the age of what we call the badger hole, and that's when I started doing my YouTube videos on my clunky little camera. So the badger hole was like, and I was really questioning myself. So in a way, it was a magic time because I had kind of lightened my load.